We're exposing the insane nickel and diamond culture on this cruise line that turned our relaxing vacation into a 24/7 sales pitch. Gosh, David, I feel like I'm in the markets of Marrakesh or something. They're screaming down there all of the deals. The constant upselling is exhausting. We're breaking down the maths to show you exactly when a budget fare is a steal and when it's a total rip-off that leaves you feeling exploited. If you don't know these hidden traps, you will overpay. But we think that there is one specific thing that you should probably pay for on this cruise. Quick heads up, this video is brought to you by Squarespace. Well, ahoy there cruisers, and welcome back on board the Carnival Adventure. We're on a 3-night mini cruise from Sydney to nowhere, so we're just in the sea. Now, first things first, it's been quite an uncomfortable ride, it really has. There's a bit of a stormy area around Sydney, and one thing that's really surprised us, first off, is that we really haven't gone anywhere. We've just stayed off the coast of Sydney, basically, between Sydney and Wollongong, so about 50-60 miles away from Sydney at the most, and we've not avoided any of the bad weather at all. Now, I'm certainly no ship captain, but we've had lots of experience of being on cruise ships and knowing the weather and what the crew usually do. What they would usually do is go somewhere to make it as comfortable as possible for all of the passengers, but it's been a very rocky cruise indeed. Now, we have an app called Windy, really good. It's used by sailors, certainly not a sailor myself, but it shows you all of the wind currents, the heights of the waves, the swells and things like that, so it's really handy to have, and we do like looking to see what the weather's going to be like on our cruises. So I'm not sure why we didn't move more. I personally think it's because the captain and the company don't want to spend any money, so they don't want to spend any money on fuel, so they're being super cheap and just staying in this rough area, which is pretty bad. Let's talk about some of the upcharges in the cabin itself. We're going to go through everything on this cruise, and like we said, it's really surprised us. The level of nickel and diming is absolutely on another level. We've cruised over 100 times, so we kind of know what we're talking about. We've cruised with Carnival as well, and it's not the same on Carnival Australia or Carnival ships sailing down under. Right, first of all, the room service. Now, room service usually is an extra charge. It would normally be $5, $7 to order as much as you want, but it's an a la carte menu here on Carnival Australia or the Carnival Adventure, and everything is an extra charge and it's all itemized. So if you wanted to order a breakfast or say a dinner, it's going to cost you a fortune. It really is. So everything is a separate price. So you're talking like $40, $50 each maybe for something for a dinner. So it's a lot more expensive than other cruise lines. We're staying in a suite, as you would have seen last week. Take a look at last week's episode to see what all of the food and everything was like. We're going to look at more at that this week, but we've got a coffee machine in our cabin, which we absolutely love. You know how much we love our coffee, but it doesn't come with any milk. So we spoke to our room attendant saying, oh, we like milk with our coffee. Is that okay? Oh, yeah, ring room service, give them a ring. It's $3.50 for some milk. Guys, we've never had to do that before. They've given us a coffee machine, but not all the things that we need for it. So no sugar, nothing like that, which is crazy. Anyway, we're going to go out and have a look at some of the food. Now, my hypothesis is they've made the food so bad on this cruise line, the included food, that they basically force you to pay for their good food or the extra charge food to actually enjoy it. So let's go do a bit of investigating, shall we, and see how much it costs to do all of the nice things on board, like the nice dining, the nice coffees and drinks, compared to just booking a cruise line which comes with a lot more included. Are you saving money by coming on a budget cruise line that then costs a lot of money on board, or are you better off paying that little bit more up front and paying less on board? Right, let's go. Ben needs his coffee, guys, because it's nice and early, and I didn't sleep very well last night because it was so choppy and so bumpy. It's crazy how bumpy it is out there. But you know what? We're having the bestest time just because we're here in Australia, one of our favourite places in the entire planet, and it's been wonderful so far. So don't feel sorry for us because we're not having a bad time at all. We're just doing a bit of investigating to see how you can save some money.
Good morning, guys. So we popped over to the buffet to go and grab some breakfast, and we left it a little bit later, hoping that it was going to be a little bit quieter, but we were completely wrong. It was a complete zoo in there. The lines are crazy. It's not the best buffet layout. We had a look at the food, and it didn't look very good at all. In fact, it looked pretty darn awful, frankly. The presentation was terrible. It looked like slop. Some of the food just looked awful. Some looked okay, but the lines were so busy that it was impossible to even get to it. The thing that surprised us the most was that there is breakfast items that are an extra charge. Now, we're used to drinks charging extra in a buffet. For example, smoothies and freshly pressed juices. They're usually an extra charge on most cruise lines, but they had donuts for an extra cost, and they just looked like standard donuts. They didn't look anything special at all. Plus, if you like a cookie, they're also an extra cost as well. And again, they just look like standard cookies that you get on other cruise lines. So already this morning, we're seeing the nickel and diamond.
It is freezing outside today, guys. And the funny thing is that they've closed down the solarium pool to change the tiles and doing some painting, which makes absolutely no sense to us whatsoever. So it is really cold. You can see the outside pool. There are some brave people out there at the moment. It's thrashing about, which is quite funny. I would have loved that as a kid. I really would have. It would have been so much fun. Yeah, but the indoor solarium pool, which is much warmer, been closed down. How silly is that? You think they would schedule the maintenance for tomorrow when we get off? Very strange. Like, that's what I'm taking away from it so far, is that they just don't care about their passengers at all. Now, like I was saying, it's very rocky today. There's actually sick bags at the end of every stairwell. So it is like trying to negotiate. It's quite a good workout, really, trying to keep your core in the middle and not fall over. Anyway, I've cracked. I am starving. I'm just going to have to go pay for some coffee. So let's go for some coffee. And I'm going to have to pay for a snack as well, which is crazy. But hey, it is a cheap cruise. We'll fill you in exactly how much we've spent on board. And you know from last week how much we paid. So we'll let you know if it's worth it or not. Right, let's go. Hopefully it's not as busy down here. But I've got a feeling it's going to be because it's miserable outside. Let's go. Oh, I've got my coffee finally, guys. And it looks good. It was about $3.50 US dollars. So it's not the most expensive. But my donut was about the same, $3.50 in the US dollars. So it's quite expensive, really, just for a simple donut. Hopefully it's better than the one I had the other day, which was frozen, that I paid for and I took back. Now, David said it feels cold. He didn't get himself one just because he's so scared of it being frozen again, but I'm going to try the coffee. Oh, sweet baby beans on a hill in Bali. That is absolutely good. That's actually nice coffee, which I'm very happy about, guys. Now, the big question is the donut any good? What are you laughing at?
That's absolutely good.
That's absolutely acceptable. Right, let's have a little try, shall we? Oh, I'm having fun, guys. They've changed the whole of the main atrium into a shopping area. Honestly, I think they're just trying to make as much money as they possibly can and fleece the lovely Australian public for as much money as they possibly can, guys. It's quite funny. There's a spa desk just behind me where they're giving sample massages, shops surrounding me all around me, then a huge shopping mall right in the middle because there isn't enough shops all anyway. So it's quite funny, guys. Yeah, so they're trying to flog everything on board, even like t-shirts and stuff from places that we're not even visiting, which is, I think it's quite funny. Anyway, oh my god, it is cold, David. I mean, it looks nice, but these are usually free, like on every other cruise line. Even like Carnival. We've had like free donuts on Carnival before. Let's have a try. It's definitely not frozen, but I think it has been frozen. Maybe. I think it's been defrosted. It actually tastes okay. It tastes absolutely fine. And like I said, it didn't break the bank, but it's just the fact the nickel and diming will add up. It really will do. That's the thing. But you know what? That really isn't that bad. It's quite a dense texture. It's not as fluffy as I would like. I like my donuts with a bit of fluff and a bit of spark in them. You know, like a little bit of a bit of fun, a bit of funk. I don't know what I'm talking about, guys. I'm just going to shut up and eat my donut. I haven't had my coffee yet, obviously. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. We've been using Squarespace for a long time now. When we started making cruise videos, we just needed a simple place to send people. One website with no drama, and Squarespace made it stupidly easy. We really love the design side of things. We're not web developers. We're usually editing on a ship somewhere. But with Squarespace's templates and Blueprint AI, you can get a fully custom website in just a few easy steps. You answer a few questions and it builds something that actually fits your brand. The other huge thing for us is SEO. People Google cruise advice all the time, and Squarespace handles the behind the scenes stuff, things like sitemaps and meta descriptions, without us having to think about it. And everything lives in one place. Website, blog posts, members only content. If you've been sitting on an idea, a travel blog, a side hustle, a passion project, genuinely just start. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Ben and David to save 10% off your first website or domain.
This is really, really funny. We're having a little bit of a giggle because I don't know if you can hear, but they're screaming discounts and offers and last chance, buy this, buy that. It feels like I'm in a market. I expect him to say like 2 cods, 2 for £2, come get your fish, come get your veggies. Anyway, I was looking through the app, just planning what we're doing today. It's actually really good, the Carnival little app. You can sort of highlight things and it just really works. But I keep getting pop-ups for discounts and vouchers and gift cards, and I got one that says, you have a new gift card, and I was like, ooh, what is it? And it says, I've got $10 off at the Life is Sweet store. I was like, oh, how exciting. We're sat right next to the Life is Sweet store. Let's go and spend that $10. And we've actually looked into it and it says, no, you only get $10 off a candy tin, which is $30. So again, even on the app, the nickel and diming is a little extreme. It's just annoying because it keeps popping up and buzzing and I get excited. I'm like, ooh, what is it? And then it's like, oh, you've got $5 off a spa treatment or something else. It's annoying. I can't get rid of it. Oh, I could get a beverage package, Ben, for the last day. Treat myself.
Gosh, David, I feel like I'm in the markets of Marrakesh or something. They're screaming down there all of the deals, which is, I don't know, it feels a bit, desperate and cheap. I'm not sure. It's very strange because this is a nice, relaxing area to chill out in. We couldn't even enjoy our coffee without being screamed at for sales. Anyway, our top tip when buying anything on a cruise ship, please check the price on land first. Check on Amazon, just do a quick Google search. There's several brands down here which they're doing sales on watches which don't even exist. They're just brands that I think Carnival might own or have made up, or brands that have just been bought for really cheap from China or somewhere. I'm not sure, guys, but they're very expensive, sort of 3 for $70 when we can find them online for sort of $15 each, so you'll be paying almost double the price. So do double check everything. Watches, even when it says duty free and things like that, guys, don't be caught out because sometimes the prices are heavily inflated. This doesn't just go for this cruise line, it goes for every single cruise line that we've sailed on before because we have been ripped off before. Do remember to bring all of your basics as well, so all of your medication, toothbrushes, sunscreen, band-aids, plasters, everything like that, because you can buy them on the cruise ship but they are extremely expensive compared to land. You'll be paying 3 or 4 times the price, so if you do forget anything it could be a very expensive mistake, especially on a cruise like this where it's we're not going anywhere, so you don't even get the chance to get off and buy it. But yeah, it's like a big old jumble sale down there with lots of screaming. It's very strange. I haven't seen anything like it before. It's so bad quality, it's not even funny, so you're not getting any type of deal. Save your money and buy something quality, in my opinion. But it's your money, you can do what you want. I'm not telling you what to do.
Guys, I've found that rare thing here on this cruise, something for free. So between 11 and 4 p.m. every day in the Italian restaurant, only between 11 and 4, you can choose some free pizza. However, you've only got a choice of pepperoni, margarita and vegetarian. All the other pizzas are an extra charge. So I went for the vegetarian. It looks pretty good and it is freshly baked because I did have to wait for it, which I don't mind. It's good. I'd say it's better than Sorrento's on Royal Caribbean. Not quite as good as other pizza, like a paid pizza, but for included pizza, that is actually very tasty. Very good indeed, but it's just a little frustrating that it's only between 11 and 4 and only in this restaurant, not upstairs at the pool deck.
Oh my gosh, guys, the whole ship feels like a bit of a floating market at the moment. It's really funny. Everywhere we walk, there's stalls selling all of the same crap everywhere, but it's all of the aisles of all of the decks are just full with shops, which is really crazy. So it is like a floating shopping mall. I mean, with the weather being this bad, there isn't that much to do. Now, I have to say, to give Carnival their dues, that the entertainment and the activities on board have been very, very good indeed. There's been lots going on during the day, lots of trivia. Now, a lot of it is skewed towards Australians, like with Australian trivia, which is completely fine and understandable because this is made for the local market, which is great. That's really good that they're actually changing some things to fit in with the local market so that people will have more of a chance with quizzes and things like that. Really, really good. There are a few upcharges though. There is only one show on this entire cruise, which is a little bit poor, I think. It's tonight. We're going to go see it. It's by the cast, but just one show in 3 nights. The other show is an extra charge, and I think it was $40 per person. So that's a bit of a shame. You're having to pay for entertainment, which we don't usually have to do on other cruise lines. Another thing which is very dated is that they have the photo gallery. Now, on most cruise lines, this is a digital thing where you can scroll through on machines to have a look at what photos the ship's photographers have taken. On here, they've printed out every single photo that the photographers have taken and hung them up on a wall. This is so incredibly wasteful. I wish cruise lines would stop doing this. They're bad enough for the environment as they are, especially these old ships which pump out so much crap. We do feel guilty about it, but do you know what? Everybody drives, everybody flies nowadays, so it is what it is. I know that's easy for us to say, but I really wish they would stop doing really wasteful stuff like that. There is no need to print out every single photograph because thousands upon thousands of them must go straight in the trash after every cruise. So Very wasteful indeed.
Back in the room, and again, I know we mentioned it in our first video, but our room hasn't been cleaned. We left the room at 9 o'clock this morning, and it's now just coming up to 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and it isn't cleaned. I think what happens is they come to your cabin, and if you are not in at that time, like so if they came at 8:45 this morning when we were just about to leave, they just mark that you're not in, that you don't want to clean, and never come back, because we've never had a turn down on a night, which we're supposed to get, and we've never had the clean during the day. It's a bit annoying really, because we need towels. I need some clean towels.
And this really isn't a reflection on the absolutely lovely crew, guys. It's obviously a problem higher up that they don't have enough time to do it. We don't blame the crew at all for this. We really don't. They work so blooming hard, all hours of the day, barely getting any breaks, barely getting any time off. So it's certainly not a reflection on the crew. It's not that they're not doing their job properly, because they clearly are. It's just clear that there isn't enough of them. I have to say though, the sort of vibe across the whole ship, the crew are miserable, guys. They're not being mean or rude to us really. They're just miserable. They've all got faces on them like they just want to be at home, which I think is also a reflection of the cruise line as well, and how they're treated as well. You can immediately tell what a cruise line's like when you speak to the crew and interact with them, and I get a really bad vibe on this cruise line that they're just not happy at all, and that sort of reflects the higher up. It's not them at all, because like I said, they are the most amazing hard-working people we have ever met in our entire lives. They work so hard for not much, to be able to take things home to the family at home, and they leave all of the family behind, kids, young kids sometimes, and we appreciate them so much. It's not a reflection on them at all. We're not complaining about them at all. It's definitely a company issue, and something that Carnival really needs to look into, because they just look so miserable, guys. It's absolutely heartbreaking. It's such a shame, it really is, because we love our crew, we really do, and we appreciate how hard they work. We really do, and we never blame them. It's always something else, because they're obviously working very hard, but there's bigger things going on in the world, isn't there? But we just want to be truthful and tell you everything that's happening. We're not here just to moan. We're here to tell you exactly what you're getting for your buck, how much you're spending, and there's other alternatives that are better in many cases. We're just trying to save you money at the end of the day. We're still having a great time nonetheless. Right, so we're going to go do one of the paid lunches now. It's not really a lunch, it's just trying to put my shoes on, trying to get me Crocs on. We're going to do the afternoon tea on board. Let's go down to the restaurant called Angelo's for that and see what that's like on board. Other options during lunchtime, you've got the buffet, which isn't our favourite, guys. There is very little hygiene in there. Nobody was washing their hands or using the sanitizer. It's very small, and the options are very limited in there as well. But we'll talk about some of the other options after our afternoon tea. So let's go. I'm really looking forward to this. I love a good afternoon tea. I hope it's good on this ship.
So we've just had afternoon tea, and it was very quiet in there. Nobody's really paying for any of the extra dining or any of the upcharges. That's one thing we've noticed throughout the cruise. Afternoon tea was 39 Australian each, so that's about $25 US. It was nice. It wasn't the most amazing afternoon tea I've had, but I really enjoyed it. It was very delicious. My only complaint as a Brit, that cream was a travesty. That was offensive to all afternoon teas out there. It was almost like shaving foam consistency. I understand they don't have clotted cream, but they could have had a thick double cream. It needed to be like a thick cream. I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop now. I've gone on about this for far too long. But apart from that, I actually really enjoyed it. It was a lovely experience, and you got a glass of New South Wales sparkling wine, which I really enjoyed. It was really good. So what I'm noticing throughout this cruise is that you really do need to pay to enjoy it. And if you do pay a little bit more, I kind of feel like what you're getting is quite good. So the extra charge stuff is actually quite good, and again, it's quite reasonably priced when you compare it to Celebrity or Royal Caribbean cruises. Specialty dining and all the extras are not way overpriced. They're all sort of little charges. Like for example, yesterday we actually had a specialty lunch in a restaurant called Luke's, which we'll show you right now.
Now this is an extra pay venue again. It was 65 Australian dollars each. That's about 45 US dollars per person, so pretty normal. It was a set meal with 3 courses starting with the bread, and the bread was very lovely. David had a cauliflower salad, which he said was really nice. I had the fried gnocchi, which was absolutely delicious. It was very good, and it was nice to see that the food was presented really well. For main courses, David went for the barramundi curry, which came with lots of sides like rice and poppadoms, and he he said it was absolutely delicious. For my main course, I went for the Scotch steak, and it was very good indeed. Well cooked, really delicious. We got a couple of sides as well, some fries, as well as some butter, truffle, mash, which was very good as well. Now, dessert was very lovely. We had a lime and licorice tart. Now, yeah, this sounds weird, but it was absolutely bloomin' delicious. We also got the chocolate tart as well, which was divine. The desserts were very, very good indeed. Now, I was really impressed with Luke's Grill and would highly recommend it. It was something that we would see on a much higher end cruise line, like maybe Celebrity. The food and service were excellent. Oh, poop deck alert, guys. I think it's deck number 7 on this ship, because this ship smells like poop and cigarettes just about everywhere, which is a bit crazy. Anyway, we're going to head up to the upper deck to take a look at some of the other options for lunch. Of course, you can do room service, but it's all an extra charge, a la carte pricing as well. Or you can go to the main dining room, which is only open for a very short amount of time, but we didn't think the food or service were that good. That's why we did the paid options. But there are a few more options upstairs, which are usually complimentary on other cruises, but not here.
Yes, so up here on the pool deck, there's something strange about the poolside grills. They are not included. So usually on almost every cruise line that we've been on, they have like a poolside grill that serves burgers, hot dogs, all that kind of stuff. It's usually included, but here on this ship, it's not included. And the same goes for the poolside pizzeria. That's also not included and an extra cost. Plus the ice cream bar. Now, a lot of ships do have an extra charge ice cream bar, but they also have complimentary free ice cream elsewhere on the ship. But on here, there's no complimentary ice cream. You do have to pay for it from the ice cream bar and the cookies, like we mentioned earlier. So that's a little bit disappointing, really, and it's quite confusing, because I think Ben mentioned before that on the Carnival US ships, they have Guy's Burger Joint, they have the Blue Iguana Cantina. These are all quick serve venues that are actually included in the cost of the cruise.
Absolutely. Everything on the other cruise ships that we've been on through Carnival have been absolutely amazing. There's been so much inclusive food all around the ship. It's crazy, because there is so much on offer on those other ships. The beautiful sandwiches that we had, the big paninis, lots of different ice cream stations all around the ship, beautiful burgers and chicken, as David just said, and that was all complimentary, included in the price of your cruise. So what I can't understand is that this cruise line used to be P&O Australia, but it has moved to Carnival Cruises. So why isn't it the same on this ship? I feel like the Australians are really, really getting ripped off here. Do you know what? I do have to say, I think the prices for things on board aren't too bad. They're definitely on the lower end compared to, say, some North American cruise lines and European cruise lines, so it's not that bad. So when it comes to the drinks on board, we don't think that they're too bad either. They're certainly not the most expensive. They're a little bit cheaper than, say, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean and Celebrity. For a beer, you're looking at on average at about 10 Australian dollars, which is $7 US. For a cocktail, they average in around 18, 20 Australian dollars, so that's 13 US. For a glass of wine, about 14 Australian dollars, so about 10 US. For a soda, a large bottle of water or a coffee, you're looking at around 5 Australian dollars, so that's about $3.50 US. For a drinks package, they don't do drinks packages on cruises 7 days or less, because we think this would be treated much more as a booze cruise if it was. They are actually quite expensive, so they start at around 111 Australian dollars per day per person, so that's quite pricey. That's around $78 US per person per day, which is quite expensive. That is on the higher side. For the soda package, it's around 12 Australian dollars a day, or around 9 US. What's great though is that gratuities are included in absolutely everything, so there's no service charge or an extra 18 or 20% added onto that. So the price you see on board is the price that you're going to pay. Obviously, with this cruising in Australia, Carnival Australia all operates in Australian dollars. I said Australia a lot there, but yeah, it's all Australian dollars, no US dollars or British pounds here, so it's all in the currency where you are, which is very helpful for the local people who use this cruise line as well. Now, we're going to go get ready for dinner. We have to do some packing as well, because we're getting off tomorrow, and then we'll see you later on for some lovely dinner. We'll let you know how much it costs and where we're going and what else is available on the ship, and most importantly, we'll add up everything we spent and let you know whether it's worth booking a budget cruise than buying a few things on board and then not really paying anything on board. We'll keep you updated.
So all packed, ready for disembarkation tomorrow. We personally like to do a walk-off disembarkation. What that means is basically we keep our bags with us and we have to carry them off with us. Most people put their bags out the night before and then pick them up in the terminal once they're off the ship. Of course, you've got to keep your clothes out for tomorrow and stuff, but we've done this a few times, guys. We're big, strong men. Well,
okay.
One of us is anyway, so we're okay carrying off our own bags. It just means we can get off anytime we want. Right, let's head out for dinner tonight. Let's do it.
Well, hello everybody and welcome to Trattoria. That's the Italian restaurant on board. Sorry I'm holding my microphone so close. It's because there's music on and we don't want to get a copyright strike. I know it's really annoying for some people, but we hold it close just because cruise ships are so loud. Number one, we don't want to disturb people. Number two, we'll get a copyright strike. Anyway, we popped in our orders. It's all a la carte, so there isn't really a dining package or a package where you can put things together. You just order all of your separate courses, which is really cool. So we popped our orders in, we've met our lovely server, and I'm excited. I think there's celebrations going on over there. I think it's a birthday. Happy birthday. Woo.
Well, it's a good job that we got the big table because we didn't realise we ordered so much food. For starters, we went for the antipasti board, which is massive. It came with a whole wedge of blue cheese on there. So I'm a very happy man, but Ben isn't because he doesn't like blue cheese. It looks really delicious though. First of all though, that focaccia is lovely and hot. It's freshly baked because I literally saw him pull it out of the oven, and the olive spread that is with it is so delicious. I went for the trattoria salad, which looks really lovely. It's got a little bit of everything in here, guys, like radishes, tomatoes, nuts, cheeses, beetroot and stuff, sun-dried tomatoes. Let's give it a try. So delicious. I love all the different textures, but my favourite thing is the sauce. It's like a vinaigrette that is absolutely delicious, and I don't mean this as an offence at all, but it tastes like the vinaigrette that you get at Olive Garden, and I'm here for that because I love the Olive Garden salad. So this is a really good starter.
Yes, that focaccia is yummy muck yummy, but I went for the bowls, the arancini bowls, guys. Let's go and have a little one. They're quite big bowls, to be fair, and there's a good pair. Let's have a try. Oh, Mario and Luigi, and a bit of Princess Peach as well. They are good balls, guys. They're delicious, very garlicky, very hot and delicious and large, which we like. Like I said, the bread's lovely, and the delicious little board, it's very nice. I've got a little meat flag. It's like dressed up in some meat. It's a bit like Lady Gaga, isn't it? Back in the day where she dressed up in the meat dress. This little stick's got a meat dress, but unlike Lady Gaga, no longer alive. It's a bit of a creepy thing to say. Sorry, the food's going to my head. But yeah, very good indeed, and lovely service. Pork her face. Pork her face. It was pork.
Main courses have arrived. Again, the portions are absolutely blooming massive. I went for the gnocchi and it looks like a platter that could be shared between a family of 4 and their friends. It's in a rich ragu sauce and it comes with some, I think, goat's cheese on the top. Let's try it. Sauce is very rich. The gnocchi is really well cooked. It's a really nice dish. Very delicious. I like this a lot.
I want to know what the hell the Australians are feeding their chickens, because that's one massive bird. She is humongous, but that's a big piece of breast. Oh my gosh. Let's have a try. It looks good. What are you laughing for, David? It's true, it's the breast of a chicken. Don't be taking your mind out of the gutter. Very delicious, very good indeed. I'm super impressed with the specialty dining. It is really tasty. I'll give them that. You've got to pay for it, but it's good. Considering the budget price of this cruise, paying for all of these little extras still might be considerably cheaper than going on maybe a slightly more elevated cruise and not paying extra for the same type of food, if you know what I mean. But yeah, very good. Right, back to the breasts. Now, dessert was absolutely wonderful. It was so good. We had the gelato cake, and my gosh, it was amazing. It was absolutely huge. I have to say, all of the desserts that we've had, especially today, have been amazing. Honestly, some of the best desserts we've had in a while. After the meal, we headed to the show in the main theatre. Unfortunately, there's only one main show, like we said, and it is such a shame and unfortunate because the show was really good, full of energy, lots of live singing and dancing, as well as a live band on the stage as well. Very good. A very good cruise show after all. And on another note, our room's finally been cleaned. I think for the second time this entire cruise, I think we should have had it cleaned or like looked at maybe 5 or 6 times. Thank God. So we finally got a bed that's been made, and we finally got some towels now so we can go have a shower without being filthy little boys. Anyway, let's talk about what we thought about this cruise and how much money we have saved by booking a budget cruise.
So during dinner tonight, even though it was a specialty restaurant, we still got the annoying upsells of people coming round. We had the photo guy come round to try and get us to take photos. We had the shots guy coming round with shots. He came round twice actually. You could do a double shot with him if you really wanted to. And yesterday, while we're having dinner in the specialty restaurant for lunch, they had spa people coming round trying to get you to sign up to spa packages and trying to sell you extra specialty restaurants. So the upselling, the nickel and diamond, can become annoying. It can impede on your cruise experience because it does start to get on your nerves a little bit. Some people, most of the crew are fine. You just say no thank you and they move on. A couple of them are a little bit pushy, especially the specialty guy on the first night. He was quite pushy saying, oh, why not? Have you seen the menu? Blah, blah, blah. And we were like, we just don't want to make a decision about that right now. So yes, it can get annoying. As we said in our last episode, our expectations before coming on this cruise were rock bottom. They were so rock bottom, they were probably subsurface. And actually, after spending time on the ship, now our opinion is it's not quite rock bottom. It's not as bad as we thought it was going to be. Now, let's call a shovel a spade though. This isn't the best cruise in the world, and it's not the best cruise line in the world, but it still has some of its advantages. So this is a cheeky, or you could say a dirty little getaway. Is that a bit too far? Basically, this cruise is just a little cruise hit. If you need a little hit of a cruise, this is okay. It's a value for money cruise. It's a bargain cruise. We were speaking to somebody who lives locally and they said they always hop on these ships because they're cheap. He paid 350 Australian dollars for this cruise in an inside cabin, and he got $100 onboard credit. I mean, $250 for a cruise. That's all including gratuities and everything. Nothing else on top of that. That's a bargain, I think.
Hello everyone, it's Ben from the future. I just wanted to add to this episode, we've got off the ship now. Oh my gosh, what an absolute palaver that was. In over 100 cruises, probably approaching about 115 now, that was the messiest disembarkation we have ever seen. It took us about an hour and 30 minutes to get off the ship. It was a complete mess. No announcements, no nothing. There was lines everywhere across the ship. There was no crew members telling people what to do, so everybody was pushing in and people were arguing and shouting at each other. It was a complete and utter palaver. My gosh, we were supposed to get priority disembarkation as well. We went to the point where you're supposed to go to because we were staying in a suite, but there was nobody there. So we ended up waiting an hour and a half to get off, along with a lot of very angry people. Not one announcement was made by the crew. All of the passengers were screaming, saying, why aren't you making any announcements? Why are you not making any announcements? People were arguing with each other for pushing in. It was a palaver. What I think, though, is if they can't even do a disembarkation, how on earth can they do something like an emergency? It really worries me that the crew members on that ship are just not capable of doing a good job of that. There was no officers about, no crew members at all. It was a complete and utter free-for-all mess. Thank God we're off. Hey, bye-bye Carnival Adventure. Anyway, back to the past. Oh guys, look at me, I'm all professional, I've made some notes. But the thing is though, it is a budget cruise, but what about when you add on all of those nickel and diming things? Because it can actually work out pretty good. So basically, what would we normally spend over a day? Well, today, coffee and a pastry was about 10 Australian dollars or about 7 US dollars. If you have a 2-course meal in one of the specialty dining restaurants for lunch, 22 Australian dollars or about 15 US dollars. Dinner? About 65 Australian dollars or $45 per person. A couple of sodas and a coffee, $10. A few glasses of wine, 30 Australian dollars, 21 US dollars. And a late night pizza as well. 12 Australian dollars and 8 US dollars. Wow, that's a lot of different dollars. Anyway, it works out at about 150 Australian dollars or 105 US dollars. That's for specialty meals around the clock, a couple of drinks, a couple of coffees, some pastries and a snack. I personally don't think that's that bad. If you're booking those rock bottom prices, say for 350 Australian dollars and then getting $100 on board credit, and then you're adding an extra $100 or so on board a day, that is still super cheap. That is much cheaper than lots of cruise lines like Princess, Celebrity, Royal Caribbean. So you can grab yourself a bargain. So don't be put off when it's it's a super budget cruise. The food might not be particularly good like we've seen in the main dining rooms and the buffets, but that's not to say you can't make it a lot better by doing things like the specialty meals. Honestly, it's really, really good. Now, we paid for Wi-Fi on this cruise as well, and the Wi-Fi has been fantastic. It's Starlink. That was 110 Australian dollars, or about 78 US dollars for the 3 days. So it's always very pricey, it always is. But what it means is that it just gives you flexibility to spend as much or as little on board. It's great if you're on a budget. It really is. Don't be put off by this. So if you do want a treat, you can add that on. The downside is that with the other cruise lines that have a better quality of food and more inclusions, is that that includes everything. So you know you're going into a cruise without having to worry about spending extra money. But it's a great option if you're on a budget, or if you're not on a budget and you want a slightly nicer cruise with all of the extras. So I would say go for it. Really, I have to say, after a whole 3 days on board, this cruise line really is not as bad as what the reviews were saying. We've been quite pleasantly surprised. The fellow passengers on board have been really lovely. The crew, yes, seem a bit down, which sucks. We said that in our last episode, but overall we've had a pretty nice time. We really have. So guys, we're doing something crazy tomorrow as well, guys. We're doing the Sydney Bridge climb. You can find out more about that on our Patreon channel, where we make vlogs just for our patrons every single week. Nobody else gets to see them apart from our patrons. Plus, we give you ad-free early access to our videos, as well as a monthly video chat. You can find out about becoming a patron. Really helps us to pay for cruises so we can remain honest and entertaining, in the description section below. That's it till next time. Happy cruising!